This conference will now be recorded.
Today is April 29th, 2021. This is the first meeting of the year of the Dayton Redevelopment Commission. This meeting is being held by phone because of the COVID-19 pandemic and in compliance with the governor's executive order. This meeting is open for the public to listen in real time and by a recording afterward. An option has been provided for the residents to comment on agenda items. I'd like to take this time to welcome two new members to the commission, Nancy Oswalt and Vicki Beavers. Present on the phone are Clerk Treasurer Michelle Freeward, Town Attorney Reed Murtaugh, Nancy Oswalt, Vicki Beaver, and I am Mark Burmester. So we will identify ourselves by roll call. Nancy Oswalt.
Here.
Vicki Beavers.
Here.
Mark Burmester, and I'm here. Our first order of business is the election of officers. Tonight we will be electing a president, vice president, and secretary. After the elected president will be in charge of the remainder of this meeting, and the elected secretary will be responsible for the minutes of this meeting. At this time, I would like to open the floor for nominations for president. Nancy, Vicki, do you have any nominations for president?
Mark? I'll go with Mark.
Okay, I have a nomination for myself to serve as president. And Nancy, did you make that motion first, or was it Vicki? I'm sorry.
Vicki did.
Vicki, okay, thank you. Do I have a second then?
I'll second it.
All right. I guess that was Nancy. All right.
Oh,
We have a nomination for Mark Burmester for president by Vicki, seconded by Nancy. I'll now open the floor for discussion. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, I will now take a roll call vote. Vicki Beaver, how do you vote?
aye.
And Nancy Oswalt, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I'm Mark Burmester, and I vote yes as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Motion passes 3-0. Excuse me. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for nomination for vice president. Do I have a nomination for vice president?
Can we nominate Steve even though he's not present?
I'll defer that to you, Reed.
I believe the bylaws address that.
I think it said something about with his permission.
Persons who are absent may be nominated in absentia if their permission is obtained prior to the meeting held for the nominations. So
I don't think
right.
that's happened. But I don't feel I'm not. The vice president is your right-hand man, correct?
Yeah, the vice president serves in the absence of the president.
Does the vice president have to be nominated and approved this meeting, or can it?
Does not have to.
It does not have to. Well, since here's the newbies and Mark, you think it would be prudent to carry this over into the next meeting?
If that's what you would like to do, Nancy, I think if you'd like to make a motion to that effect.
I make a motion with postpone vice president until the second meeting. Hmm.
All right, this was, who was this? I'm sorry. Was it Nancy that made that motion? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what did you need me to say? That it was
I'm
me
sorry.
that-
Yes, who is, identify yourself. I'm sorry, I don't know your voice. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I need to do that. I'm not used to this. This is Nancy, and I make a motion that we wait until the next meeting to vote for the vice president.
All right, Nancy, I'm sorry, none of us are used to this. I will second your motion. We have a motion to postpone the election of vice president until the next meeting, seconded by Mark Burmester. I'll now open it for discussion. Any discussion? Having no discussion, we'll now have a roll call vote. Nancy, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Vicki, how do you vote?
Yes.
I'm Mark Burmester, and I vote yes. At this time, so the motion passes 3-0 to postpone the election of the vice president to the next meeting. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for nominations for secretary. Would either one of you like to be secretary?
This is Nancy, not real.
Mark, I'll step up.
Okay, who is this one?
This is Vicki, I'm sorry.
Vicki? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I will nominate Vicki Beavers to serve as secretary. Do we have a second?
This is Nancy. I'll second that.
Thank you, Nancy. We have a nomination for Vicki Beavers to serve as secretary by Mark Burmester, seconded by Nancy Oswald. I will now open it for discussion. Have no discussion. We'll now call for a roll call vote. Vicki, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nancy, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion passes 3-0. All right. Our second order of business is the reading of the minutes from the previous meeting. Clerk Treasurer Michelle Freeward has graciously enough put together minutes from the last meeting and has offered to read them. If you would, please, Michelle.
Okay. These are the minutes from February 26th, 2020. The commission members that were present were Mark Burmeister, Steve Schuley, Larry Heiser, Carla Snodgrass, Steve Shadelic, and Kimberly Wright. First present were Attorney Reed Murtaugh and Dayton Clerk Treasurer Michelle Freeward. Reed Murtaugh called the meeting to order. The commission members made brief introductions and the meeting commenced. The election of the officer for president. A motion was made by Steve Schuley to nominate Mark as the president. Larry Heiser seconded. Attorney Murtaugh called for the votes were given. Motion passed, and Mark was elected as the president of the commission. For vice president, a motion was made by Carla Snodgrass to nominate Steve Schuley as vice president. President Mark seconded. Attorney Reed Murtaugh calls for votes. The votes were given. Motion passes, and Steve Schuley is elected as vice president of the commission. For secretary, a motion was made by Mark to postpone choosing secretary until the next meeting. Steve Schuley seconded that motion. Mark called for votes. Votes were given. Motion passed until the next meeting to select the secretary. Approval of the minutes. A motion was made by Carla Snodgrass to approve the meeting minutes from November 20th of 2019. Steve Schuley seconded that motion. Mark called for votes. Votes were given, and the motion passed to approve the meeting minutes from November 20th of 2009. Under Attorney Reed Murtaugh, Reed gave updates to the Redevelopment Commission on what point the TIF district creation was at. He explained to the commission the confirmatory resolution. There was Speaker Jason from Baker Tilly. He presented the summary of the declaratory resolution to the commission members. He stated the truck company bill and starts paying taxes, the town will capture that money. If the truck company got billed in 2020, it would be assessed in January 1 to start taxes, and then the commission would not start capturing that money until 2022. The town would only capture $260 of taxes allowed a TIF area where that trucking company is on current projects. With the TIF area created, it would be capturing $27,000 a year on those projects. And Attorney Reed Marshall opened comments from the public for the hearing. Comments from the public for the public hearing. Jen Menango had a question regarding capturing money from TDS and already built. Mark Ho confirmed that TDS is currently building a shop. It is expected to be finished in 2020, start paying taxes 2021, and the town would receive that money in 2022. Cindy Marsh asked Jason if there was a way that the TIF money could be used or could be changed if the town wanted a park or something beneficial to the town. Asked about the commission using funds to pay for utilities. Reed confirmed that the commission could choose to or TIF money to pay for utilities wanted. LaDonna Snyder made a comment. The TIF district is a good way to get the developers to pay through their taxes to pay for the infrastructure needed to bring in more developers instead of the town paying for it. Tyrone Taylor was concerned about anything east of Yost Road in the TIF district. It is looking at being commercial, or is it being commercial area or residential? If residential is built, it will not benefit the TIF district. There was a motion by Steve Shuley to approve the confirmatory resolution. Carla Snodgrass motion. Mark called for votes. Votes were given, and the motion passes to approve the resolution. And then Carla moved to adjourn the meeting. Steve Shuley seconded, and President Burmeister adjourned the meeting. And that is the conclusion of those minutes.
Thank you, Michelle. Commissioners, you've heard the minutes of the previous meeting. Do you have any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I make a motion to accept. I'm sorry.
This is Reed. I have one correction. So I did check, right. And Jason's name with Baker Tilly is Jason Similar. So we just need to make that correction of his spelling of his last name from Semeier to Smler.
Oh, okay. So I took his name from
section 4.
Okay.
I see that. I took his name off of the minutes from December. I apologize for that, so I'll get that changed.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Not a problem. All right. Well, thanks again, Michelle. Okay. So we've now heard the correction. So I guess do I need to take a vote to accept the correction, or do we just accept it, Reed?
Just need a vote to approve the minutes with the correction.
Okay. At this time, I make a motion to accept the minutes as read or as corrected. Do we have a second?
This is Nancy. I'll second that.
Thank you, Nancy. We have a motion to accept the minutes as read by myself and seconded by Nancy. We'll now take a roll call vote to accept the minutes as read. Vicki, how do you vote?
Yes.
Nancy, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 3-0. Let's see. The next order of business is claims. Do we have any claims? Hearing none, we will move on to reports. Michelle, do you have any financial reports at this time?
So I know you had asked if we would be or if the commission would be collecting anything from TDS this year. So I think looking back to that meeting and then confirming with Mark Harlow. So the original thought was that the trucking company was going to get built last year, but obviously it's just now starting to get built. So from my understanding from the meeting, so hopefully the trucking company will finish getting built this year. They're done being built this year. Then 2022, that's when they'll be assessed and start collecting taxes. And then so the commission would start capturing that money in 2023. The shop that was built on TDS, it was completed in 2020. So they should have been assessed and started paying tax year in 2021. So the commission should start collecting the taxes on that in 2022. So from my understanding, the commission would actually get funds until 2022, and that will be for the TDS, and then 2023 will be for the semi-dealer. Am I saying that correct?
That sounds correct to me, is how I understand things. Do you have any comment on that, Reed?
Yeah, that sounds correct to me.
Okay.
Okay. Just making sure I understood it right, too.
Okay. Do you have anything else, Michelle, that you want?
So that's the only. No, that was just the update. So I wouldn't start getting money for you guys until, like I said, next year.
Next year. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, Reed, do you have anything to report at this time?
I do not.
All right, thank you, Reed. Next is old business. Does anyone have any old business? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to new business. We have a bit of an issue with some questions concerning the TIF fund and how it is set up. And so in order to resolve that, I'd like to now make a motion for Michelle to contact Jason Simmer at Baker Tilly to try and resolve some of the questions concerning how the TIF is set up and everything is working through the state as we need it to. Michelle, what is that the gateway? That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, so it's just how it's being reported in Gateway. We're getting conflicting things about me getting it set up, so I just need their help, I think, maybe to get on the same page with Gateway, since apparently they're not understanding what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is Reed. So after the last meeting when the commission approved the confirmatory resolution, that confirmatory resolution was then recorded, and then Ice Miller sent the letters to file that with the Department of Local Government Finance and with the county auditor. And we did get confirmation then from the county auditor that we submitted everything that we needed to. So that's kind of a separate step from the ongoing reporting through the state with Gateway.
All right.
And that's what Michelle is responsible for and is working on with trying to get some answers to.
So it sounds like everything was the paperwork was all properly filed and handled. It's just that there's some issue with the Gateway, and so the motion is for Michelle to contact Jason at Baker Tilly to try and figure out how to resolve this. Do I have a second?
This is Vicki. I'll second.
Nancy, that was Nancy. Did you say?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, we have a motion by Mark Burmester for Michelle to contact Jason at Baker Tilly, seconded by Nancy. I will now open it for any discussion. Hearing none, I'd like to go ahead and take the vote. Nancy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vicki, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion passes 3-0. All right. I will now open the floor to citizens' comments pertaining to Redevelopment Commission business. Do we have anyone wanting to speak?
Mark, this is Jen. There's no one else on the line.
Okay. All right.
And
Thank you, Jen.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. So then I'm going to go to, are there any comments, additional comments from the board members?
I don't have any. This is Vicki.
This is.
All right.
I
Well,
don't have.
okay. Well, I want to thank you all for attending tonight. Having no further business, I will call this meeting adjourned. Have a good evening.